this video, I'm going to spill all the tea about the top 5 misconceptions of women being in remote high ticket sales. So, sales, the word sounds quite scary. It sounds like it's a man's role. It sounds like women shouldn't be in it. But I'm here to tell you the real truth about the industry and what you can expect and why women actually do better than men. Ooh, controversial take, I know, but I'll explain why now. Okay, let's get into the first one. The first misconception is sales is a man's job. Yeah, you heard that silence for a reason, because I don't believe in that at all. And I actually have to get my facts up. And let me read what I actually researched. So in a study conducted from 2020 to 2023, 89 companies across 8 different industries found that female salespeople were 1.5% better than men. Ooh, what I've just said is even down to my personal experience. When I first started in remote sales, I was working alongside men. I was the only woman in the sales team. And, obviously when I first start, like when anyone first starts something, you have to, get to grips with the industry. You have to get to grips with sales, you have to get to grips with the side hustle, just like with any business. So once you understand how it works, then you start to see the real deal, the real money coming in. So yeah, I was alongside men, as I mentioned, and I was doing better than the men that I was working alongside. And this same very guy, especially one guy, he had a lot of ego. Men just think is they should be in the industry, and there's nothing wrong with thinking that. But then the reason why they have so much ego about it is because they're like, listen, this is a male-dominated industry. As a woman, some of them actually think like this, as a woman, why are you here? But you have to prove to yourself that, listen, I'm a woman, and we have natural, innate abilities. God has created us women in a specific way, which allows us to have an edge over men. And I'm going to explain those specific traits later on. But it's scientifically proven. Studies have shown that women are better at sales than men. So I think, honestly, the reason why women don't get into sales is because most women tend to not take risks. Men, they just go ahead at it. They don't care. They just go for it. And we need more women like that. That's why men, they have this sort of stigma that, oh yes, if you're a man and you like making money, just go into sales. But if you're a woman and you like making money, why can't you go into sales too? There's room for us too to grow in this industry. It's just that majority of us are a bit scared of what's going to happen. Is it actually going to work for us? But I am living proof that it works. And also, just forget about me. Look at the girls on Selling Sunset, that Netflix series. I don't really watch series, but I've seen the stuff that they do. These girls that sell real estate, they do very well. We don't care about men that sell real estate. There's so many men that are in the real estate industry. We don't care about them. We care about the ladies. We care about the ladies. That's why they do series and documentaries on these ladies that are in sales. I don't even need to show you that there is people doing well in sales. You can do it yourself. You can do the research yourself and see. Type in Netflix, Selling Sunset, or Selling in Tampa. I think there's so many series that they do. That is a classic example of women do fantastic in sales. Yeah, it looks all glamorous and luxurious. My point is that it just goes to show that it's possible to do really well in sales, and it's not just a man's job. Okay, so myth number 2, salespeople are pushy. Nah, that's not true. And it's quite the opposite, actually. I don't believe in that pushy type of sales. That's not what does well. And the reason why I don't believe in it is because when you're being sold to, you shouldn't feel like you're being sold to. For instance, I had an experience when I wanted to buy into someone's course, and they had a webinar, and at the end of the webinar, they said, okay, if you're coaching with me, I can do a course, you can join my course program, whatever it was. And I was interested, so I filled out the details, and he actually called me about 20 minutes later. The owner of the business called me, and he just pressured me so much. I said, damn, is this what sales is like? If it is, I don't want any parts. That totally put me off sales. And this was before I started actually closing deals myself. This was before I was involved in the remote sales industry myself. But that experience was too much. I hated it. I got pressured. He was pressuring me, why don't you do this? Or why don't you buy into my course now? Or why are you not doing this? So if you didn't buy it, where are you going to be in 6 months' time? He was just making me feel terrible about my situation. And sales is not like that. You're meant to be like a coach. I always tell my students, and anyone that talks to me about sales, I say that sales is just about you coaching people. Listen, it's about you having conversations with people. It's nothing more and nothing less than that. It's all about conversations. It's all about having conversations with people, and that is it. Because the best sales experience I've had is when I felt like I haven't been sold to. That is as simple as it is. Salespeople, ladies, we are here to make sure that we understand the prospect's pain points. Like, why have they even come onto the call with you in the first place? You can't go straight into closing them and selling them and saying, okay, so let's say, for instance, someone's come onto the call with you and you say, oh yeah, buy this program now, it's £2,000, I think it will be good for you. You think they're gonna buy? No, people don't buy for your reasons, they buy for their own reasons. So you need to understand what their reasons are. And in order for you to understand what their reasons are, you need to ask them questions, because you need to figure out their pain points and figure out why, in fact, they've come onto the call with you in the first place. So in order for you to sell, it's not about being pushy, it's about being persuasive. We are not convincing anyone to do anything. We're not pushing anyone. Listen, I've been on sales calls where I've said, listen, if this person wants me to force feed them, if they want me to physically sit down and feed them with a silver spoon, that they've met the wrong person, because I'm not going to do that. I'm purely here to help you. But if you don't want to be helped, then how can I help you? Like, I'm not going to force anyone to do anything. Sales is not about forcing. And just because, yeah, you might be making a commission or you might be getting £300, £400, £500 out of that call, it takes away from the nature of sales. Actual salespeople know how to sell without making people feel like they've been sold to. And most of the time, if you push someone to do something, I can bet you 85% of the time, that same person will come back and saying that they want a refund, because you've literally made them do something that they didn't want to do. And when they've come off the call with you, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? And they'll just ask for a refund. And then you don't get your money that you thought you'd get. So it's just counterproductive. It's just better to take time with people on calls. And men, okay, I don't want to stereotype and I don't want to put like a whole agenda against men. Like, this video is not gender bias towards women or against men. Like, it's not that. But from my experience and what I've seen, men tend to be a bit more pushier. And as women, we have that sort of ability to interpret emotional cues because we are more emotional. Men are more like logical. You know, if someone says they don't want to do something, I'll be like, why? Why don't you want to do it? Or they just, you know, it's good to be straightforward. I'm not saying it's bad to be straightforward, but there's a way in which we should do it that doesn't come across as pushy. That's my point. So my misconception number 2, you do not need to be pushing in sales. In fact, you need to be quite the opposite. You need to be quite patient and quite loving and caring. Myth number 3, women do not succeed in remote sales. I'm gonna tell you that for free, that is incorrect. The reason why people don't think women can succeed is because there's not a lot of women in the industry. And even though we have some women in the industry, it's a very, very small percentage of women in comparison to men. Those women don't really like being online, because when you think about remote sales, you don't have to show your face online, you don't have to do anything online to make money. All you do is hop onto sales calls with people on Zoom and close the deal there. That means that you don't have to post on social media to make money. That means you don't have to grow your own personal brand to make money also. A lot of these women may just want to make their money in silence and in peace and without anyone like watching them and, you know, peeking over what they're doing. But I don't mind. I'm here to spill all the tea. I'm here not to gatekeep. I'm here to help the woman, because this industry is full of men. That's why I'm even making this video. It's full of men, and there's not enough women in the industry. You know, majority of women out in sales don't really like to show their face online. People say that women don't succeed in sales because there's not a lot of us, but the ones that are in the industry, we're making money. So that whole concept of women not doing well in sales is completely false, as I mentioned earlier about the studies. And back to, even as I mentioned, I said I'm going to even expand on the traits of a woman and why we do better. So as women, we tend to listen a lot more. And that's a skill that we kind of just have. I think we have that ability to listen better than most men. And, you know, not that men can't listen, it's just that women tend to be a bit more patient than men. And that gives us that edge once again, because in sales, it's not about talking. Contrary to popular belief, it's not about talking, it's about listening. It's 80% listening and 20% talking. So if you are listening to what the prospect has to say, if they're telling you all they are, if they're telling you everything about their life, you're now on the call with them, they're telling you everything. You know, you're listening, you're taking notes. So when it comes to now pitching the offer, present it and suit it and make it like fit like a jigsaw puzzle, because you're now saying what I have is going to solve all those problems you listed to me earlier. Whereas men, they'd have to train a lot to make sure that they become sort of used to that sort of element of active listening. But as women, that just comes more naturally to us. I'm not saying that we don't have to train. And yeah, we do have to undergo training. That's not, that's a given. We do have to train to do well in this industry. Like with any side hustle or business, you do need some level of support, some level of training to do exceptionally well. Not that you can't do it on yourself, but if you want to achieve results faster and smoother, then you would need training to help you to become a better listener. And as women, we tend to build rapport easily. Like there's certain questions that I can ask a lady, like, oh, girl, you know how girls talk. We just have that sort of connection. I could be like, girl, why did you do that? Or girl, how come you did that? Or girl, okay, I get you. But a man can't be like, girl, why do you do it? Like, it just sounds wrong. And a lot of them they have a lot of ego and they won't do that. But that instantly forms a connection. It builds rapport with whoever you're speaking to so they can feel more comfortable with you and just see it as a conversation, as I mentioned earlier. Because sales calls and remote sales is nothing more than having conversations with people. So it's just a whole lot easier as a lady to do it. And even when speaking to men, it's also easier to do it with men. You know, as ladies, we have a way in which we can communicate with other men. And, you know, I know there's different types of men. There's these like kind of like alpha men that they call them. They're so like big and boisterous. They think they're in charge and all blah, blah, blah. Obviously there's a way to handle them. But there's also a way to handle like the, I guess, in quote, average men. The men that just, you know, they're willing to have help. They're willing to listen to what you have to say. There's ways in which we can communicate with them in a way that makes them feel like they're so important. And then they end up buying what you have to offer. Because if it's suited to them and you can make it seem like you can deliver it in a way that they can't miss that offer, they're going to buy. And I might actually do a video about that. I might actually do a video about how to talk to women in sales and how to talk to men and how to close deals depending on which gender you're speaking to, because it is different. Let's not lie, it is slightly different. But I can do a video on that if you guys want me to. Myth number 4, sales lacks work-life balance. Maybe the traditional sales, like if you're in an office 24/7, cold calling, messaging people all the time, generating your own leads, and then you're probably gonna lack a work-life balance. But remote sales is the epitome, I think I've said, is that the right word? The epitome, the pinpoint, the focal point of work-life balance. Listen, as long as you can commit to a certain amount of hours every single day to close deals, you're good. So if it means that you want to work 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and obviously you'd have to negotiate that with your business owner, whoever you're closing deals for. But if they're happy with you closing deals for 5 hours a day, fantastic. Let's say you wake up at 9 a.m., you start closing deals at 10. So 10 to 3 p.m., you're done with deals. So you have all the way from 3 p.m. onwards, the rest of your day, you're good. Listen, if you're a mother, you can look after your kids, you can pick your kids up from school, you can spend time with them in the evening. And once you've closed your laptop, guys, that is it. No need to worry about having to message anyone or, you know, in sales roles, traditional sales roles, listen, when you get home, you're probably still going to be doing some work. But that's not how it is in remote sales. Like, you can do it from anywhere in the world as well, may I add. It's fully remote. Anywhere in the world, you work the hours that you want to work at and live the life that you want to live. That's allowed me to travel. It's allowed me to do it whilst I was at university studying a full-time master's. Like, there is a lot of flexibility that remote sales can give you that other traditional jobs and roles cannot. Okay, so myth number 5. Remote sales is all about cold calling. Yeah, no, 100%. No, it's not about cold calling at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We don't get any cold leads. We don't have to reach out to cold leads. We get the leads booked onto our calendar. So if you don't know how remote sales works, essentially what happens is there are business owners, influencers, people online who talk about many different things that they're good at. So for instance, let's say you've seen an Amazon FBA coach. So someone that teaches other people on how they can monetize and make money from Amazon. So they built a platform online talking about that side hustle. And naturally, people are going to be interested in learning more about it. So they're going to message the coach and say, look, I've been seeing your content. This side hustle looks really lucrative. I think I'd be good at this. Then that person would respond to them and get back to them and, you know, say, okay, great. So you need to book a call with a member of my team to get you sorted. Because let's be real, it's a high ticket product. Meaning that these products cost thousands of pounds. People are not just gonna buy it. People are not just gonna buy it and be like, oh yeah, £3,000, click, let me just buy it. No, people wanna speak to someone to make sure if it's the right investment for them. And you have to be real. These coaches have thousands of people reaching out to them every single week, especially if they've built such a huge platform and a big audience. They cannot speak to everyone that's interested in buying their course. So what do they need? They need people like me and you. Me and you to close deals for them. Because there is the need for us. There is a need for salespeople to come into their team in order for them to make the money that they need to make, because they don't have the time to speak to everyone. The key thing is that these people are already interested in buying that course that you're selling. No cold calling, fantastic. No cold calling, they're all warm leads. These people are already interested. So job one, like, you've got a massive tick box already. A massive tick box. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to reach out to people that are not interested. These people are already interested, that are being booked onto your calendar, and you close the deal. And obviously you're not going to close every deal that you get and every call that you get. That's a given. That's part of the industry. But it helps that you get warm leads. Remote sales is not about cold calling. Maybe other traditional sales roles, you'd have to do that. But in remote sales, we have the privilege and we are blessed enough to not have to do that. So ladies, that is the top 5 misconceptions about being a woman in remote high ticket sales. And I told you guys the truth about it and what you can expect. So as you know, ladies, I give all the information I can. Nothing is filtered on my channel. Please give me a subscribe, hit the notifications button. And if you need me to do any more videos, let me know in the comment section below. And I will catch you ladies in the next video. Bye.